stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting, brought to you by Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. Please stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting, brought to you by Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. Please stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting, brought to you by Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. Please stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting, brought to you by Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. Please stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting, brought to you by Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. Please stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting, brought to you by Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. Please stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting, brought to you by Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. Please stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting, brought to you by Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. Please stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly. Hello, and welcome to this live stream of today's public meeting, brought to you by Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc. Please stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly.
Good morning. I'd like to bring to order this Downtown Development Authority Board Member meeting on Wednesday, February 11th at 9 a.m. First order of business is to approve the December 10th, 2025 minutes. Are there any questions or corrections, comments? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed. No, I just wanted to say that once in my life. No.
Okay, that was the joke. Okay.
That's a joke.
Motion approved. Next are the January 31, 2026 financials. Good morning.
Good morning. In your packet are your statements as of the end of January. These statements do not include the winter tax capture. Those have now just been posted. They were actually posted yesterday. Tim, sorry I didn't get back to you on that email. This was the first year that the DDA is not capturing, I believe it was the veterans and the senior mills from the county. So anticipated and total than what I was projecting without thinking about that. But Tim, I'll get you the exact numbers. I'm happy to take any questions on the statements. Nothing too out of the ordinary up through January. The list of payments is in your packet, and if there's any questions, I'll take them.
Yes, just a question on clarification on note one, where it's the liabilities not part of the statement.
Correct.
Remind us what the structure of those are. Is that are we guarantor of those bonds, or it uses the word reimburse?
I will let Jessica answer that. I mean, the city is the holder of, issued the bonds, we're the holder of the bonds, and then there's a memorandum of understanding, I believe is what the agreement is.
So it is the city's limited tax general obligation pledge that secures the bonds. Any sort of underlying agreements with other public entities to provide revenues to pay those bonds are not actually technically security for the bonds. They are not. That's just an agreement between the DDA and the city. But as far as bondholders are concerned, they just have the limited tax pledge as security. Does that make sense?
It does. But do we, the DDA, are we reimbursing the city as they make payments on that, or is that the way the
Yes.
Yeah, they pay them.
That's the order of things. Yep. They pay the bonds directly on a very strict timetable.
If you had nothing else to do with your time, you could have seen
our presentation on this yesterday at the city, because our total indebtedness and what we're guaranteeing is going up.
Okay.
We're not government, we're cities.
My next bout of insomnia, I will look for that. Later.
That's right, we do archive.
Any other questions? All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve Statement D.
Moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Moved it.
All right, the 2025 audit, you're still up, Ms. Chapman.
Yes, I would like to introduce Maurice Stiegel from Plant Moran, who did the city's audit as well as the DDA audit, and let her tell you about how things went.
Good morning. Happy to be here today. I'd like to walk the board through the results of the fiscal year 2025 audit. You're getting updated financial numbers here, so I'm going to focus on the audit results today. Plant Moran was able to issue an unmodified or clean opinion. That's the highest opinion that we can provide as auditors on the financial statements. In plain terms, this means that the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects, and you can rely on those for oversight and decision-making purposes. Within our audit opinion, we did include what's called an emphasis of matter paragraph, and this just calls out that there was a new accounting standard implemented for those financial statements. This was what's called GASB Statement Number 101. It relates to compensated absences, so the measurement of the liability for things like sick and vacation time. That was implemented appropriately. The emphasis of matter paragraph does indicate that it was implemented retroactively if it existed at the beginning of the year, which is consistent with the auditing or the accounting standard requirements. We reported no significant difficulties encountered during the audit, no disagreements with management. As part of any audit, we do evaluate internal controls for audit planning purposes. The audit opinion does not express an opinion on internal controls, but if there's any deficiencies that are identified, we are required to report those to you. During this fiscal year, we did identify one item through our testing that related to approximately $177,000 of revenue and receivable that was recorded in an incorrect fiscal year. That was ultimately deemed to be immaterial, so it did not affect the financial statements, but we do report that to you as it was uncovered as part of the auditing procedures. Management has already implemented corrective action as it relates to that item. So key takeaways related to the audit: a clean audit opinion, that one entry that was identified related to timing, and no other matters as it relates to the audit process that require communication with you here today. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have related to the audit and these communications.
Any questions? We love a clean audit.
I would just offer my thanks to Tricia and the city team for all their work in helping to put this together, and obviously Maria at Plant Moran for your work as well.
Also, thank you for getting caught up on the statements. That's nice too.
Yeah.
So I would entertain a motion to accept the audit as presented.
Support.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. That motion carries. Next is a Retail Innovation Grant. Morning, Marvin.
Hey, Mark. Oh, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing. Is this a different clicker? Yeah, it sure is. Look at that. Hey, there we go. Good morning. Yes, we're here to talk about Innovation Grant. Just quickly give you a little background about where the program is and what we're doing, what we've done this year. So to date, we've awarded 36 businesses grants for through the Retail Innovation Program. The total that we've invested in these new businesses is about $920,000 over the life of the program, which is great. It's a lot of investment that we've made in these small businesses and bringing them into downtown and just having retail open. Am I not in the right spot? Sorry about that, James. So that's very exciting. This year alone, we've awarded 4 grants totaling over $67,000 to businesses primarily on Monroe Center, but also in South Division as well, and saw a great mix of retail, both in terms of type and ownership. So it's been great attracting a diverse ownership to downtown and diverse retail businesses as well. Today we're here to talk about Earthly Refillery. Unfortunately, the owner couldn't be here today, so you just get me doing the dog and pony show. They are located at 122 Oak Street. It's the new bulk food and supply retail space that moved into Studio Park. For those of you who might not be familiar, they started their first space over in Easttown, and they've since expanded into downtown. They moved in about the end of last year. So they've really focused on eco-friendly, low-waste grocery household items. So if you've ever been in there, it's a lot of bulk things, bring your own containers, that sort of thing. Having any sort of grocery option in downtown is a huge victory for us. And so it felt like a really smart thing for us to support this. Their business plan, as well as their financials and an overall presentation, went in front of the Economic Business Support Committee back in November. They received unanimous recommendation to this body to approve their award, which is for an amount not to exceed $25,000, which is the cap for the Retail Innovation Grant. With that, I'll happily try to answer any questions you might have about Earthly Refillery.
Remind us, is that over 18 months?
Yes, correct. It is over 18 months.
Okay.
Their lease, however, is 5 years. Right?
5 years, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, but the DDA's commitment is for 18 months.
Okay.
Based on the state and the statute.
Any questions?
My only question would be, given the, constant cry for food options in the downtown core, and given people who aren't in the space don't quite understand maybe sometimes how cutthroat and tight margin grocery stores are, that it's really, really hard to do something that's not big. I always tell people Manhattan, Brooklyn, which has 2 million people in it, has 2 Trader Joe's. So everyone wants a Trader Joe's, and they're in a small spot in their neighborhood, but you need huge volume to make that work. Are there any other tools in the toolbox we can use to help these guys? It seems to me this is sort of categorically different than a shoe store, right?
Sure.
This is something that feeds into the dream of downtown neighborhood and getting people what they need. Everybody needs to eat every day. I don't need shoes every day.
Right.
I don't need a watch every day. So this is a sort of a core service downtown that would seem to me, if there's any way we could lean in a little heavier towards helping them succeed, that would be good.
Yeah, we do offer other grant programs that they would be eligible for. So the Downtown Enhancement Grant, they would be available to them, and we also offer grants that support small business, like events and driving foot traffic, which is something I know in this particular location, Earthly Refillery is looking at doing, trying to program classes and other things and using the space in a different way that they use in their Easttown location. And we have been talking to Anna, who is the owner, so she's been made aware of those grants, and I think we'll follow up if any of them sort of make sense for her.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the grant. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Skywalk wayfinding.
Yeah, here to talk about the other thing I talk about all the time, which is wayfinding. So we are talking about Phase G, which is a letter I made up because we only went through Phase F in the original scope of the wayfinding project. But about the middle or end of last year, worked with our partners over at Experience GR as well as the Convention Center, and we did a pretty thorough walkthrough of the Skywalk. Really wanted to understand how our additional signage within the Skywalk was performing, and really looking for additional gaps or new opportunities for us to expand or enhance signage throughout the system. And so we identified a handful of those opportunities to enhance not only our own signage, but actually take over some signage for the buildings and bring it more in line with the wayfinding branding. So identified a total of 47 locations for either replacing existing signage or adding new signage that didn't exist. And it's a mix of both existing sign types and new sign types that were created for this particular phase. So This map right here is an existing sign type that we created during the first round of wayfinding for the Skywalk. So we're adding a couple of those throughout the convention center, as well as in a couple of other key locations that were missed during the first walkthrough. And then we've added a few new sign types. So this large banner sign is replacing a building existing sign in the PNC Tower, as well as this sign type, which is similar in size and shape to the map, but is just a wall directional. And then we're enhancing, we did some vinyl applications on the wall that just kind of gave general directions. We're enhancing most of those to actually be much more specific and provide better direction, as well as adding more of these symbols for folks just for ease of communication. And then if you're familiar with the Skywalk, you'll know on all the doors it just sort of mentions that you're in the Skywalk. So we're taking all of those vinyls off and we're replacing them with these vinyls, which will be much brighter, easier to see, and then again will allow us a little bit more room and opportunity to do some enhanced directionals, including destinations and arrows, so people just get better direction within the Skywalk. And then on doors where you're sort of entering or exiting the Skywalk, you'll have these that'll say, welcome to the Skywalk, or on the other side, it will say, like, you're exiting the Skywalk. So just really looking for opportunities to enhance the messaging throughout the Skywalk and increase communication and hopefully decrease confusion, because we received some feedback from some folks at Amway about some confusing areas in and around where the Amway transitions to the convention center and where the general Skywalk sort of transitions to Amway. People tend to get a little turned around over there. So the ask today is for an amount not to exceed $21,890, which will allow us to either replace or add a total of 24 signs throughout the Skywalk. This Phase G is being broken down into two phases, so this will be the first phase of Phase G, and then we'll do Phase G.2 or whatever we're going to call it later, likely in the new budget year for FY27. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I'll quickly add, we are using our existing wayfinding consultant team of RLR, who helped design these to keep the look and feel consistent with the existing system, and we are sticking with Universal Signs, who is the manufacturer of all of our signs for wayfinding.
First, on this specific project, I would encourage you to temper your optimism for what it will resolve, having encountered a lot of pedestrians, confused pedestrians in there. You know, sense of direction is maybe a natural thing or not. Like,
Sure.
But what's been the overall feedback on this project? I mean, aesthetically, I think it looks amazing out there, but I'm just curious, has anybody noticed? Has it led to better findings? Like, what's the community saying?
I'll echo your advice back to you and like temper your expectations about people paying attention to infrastructure at all, right? So nobody notices new signs or trash cans as much as I would like them to. But I think overall the feedback's been pretty positive, especially with the pedestrian level signage we've done in both the urban core and in the Skywalk. So really the signage that we added the first round in the Skywalk way back in Phase A was a lot better than what existed, because almost nothing existed before other than some small directionals that you probably couldn't find if you even knew that they were there. So I think what we've done is really enhanced it, and I think that we're just looking, I think we always kind of knew, and we knew that going in with the signs that we put into the pedestrian right-of-way in the city too, that, you know, as we analyze the system and look for gaps and look for efficiencies and ways that we can improve it, that once we put things in the ground, we will find other gaps and other efficiencies and other ways to improve the system. And I think we just kind of keep looking at the system as sort of a living and evolving organism. We're going to put things in, we'll see how they work. The good thing about this sort of phase is a lot of these signs are vinyl, and so they're quick to install, and if we need to replace them, it's pretty inexpensive and relatively easy. Some of these signs, like the larger banner sign, are a little bit more difficult, but we're really just replacing that sort of building signage to, one, enhance the aesthetic. So the sign, that banner at the top, for example, is replacing a black sign that's really hard to read. So this will align it branding-wise and aesthetically with our system, but also make it a lot more easy to read. So I think overall, people probably won't notice, but I think they will benefit from it, right? They will. They're not going to be like, man, these new signs are great, but they'll probably be like, oh, I know where the Amway is from here, or I can find these other things. So, yes, expectations very tempered.
Any other comments or questions?
I was just going to add maybe to that point as well. We are adding, with the anticipation of the amphitheater opening in May, we do have the ability to add in sort of locations, and so the amphitheater will be one, obviously, that we're working toward adding. And hopefully, as we get an influx of people here over the spring and summer, that'll help.
Yeah. We're actually tackling the amphitheater and the soccer stadium in one swoop. So. And I forgot to mention the maps that are going out for this phase, and then eventually we'll do a map update for the entire system. But these will be the first maps that include the QR code that will direct people to our visitor website. So once these are made, there will be not only the ambassador phone number for assistance, there will also be the QR code on there that will direct folks to the new visitor website. So full integration coming, just like we promised way back in 2020 with the visitor website and the ambassador, all that stuff going on the wayfinding system. So
We did.
Anything else? All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the...
Support.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, good stuff, thank you.
thank you.
Now we have, speaking of soccer, we have turf installation. Who's heading this up?
Corey is on the way up.
Hi, Corey.
Hi. Morning, everyone. So my name is Corey Matine. I'm the project manager at DJI, and I want to talk to you about turf installation at Las Canchas. So just a recap for people that don't know, Las Canchas was approved by the DDA for funding for construction of the courts in July 2022. And in September 2022, we successfully transformed the underutilized parking lot located at 250 Stewart Avenue. So just for clarification, the picture on the right is the location where we have the three courts, and the one on the left is where we're looking to have the proposed turf installed. So the courts incentivize health activities and build a community around the sport, whilst also increasing the potential of economic activity in the adjacent Bridge Street district. I feel these courts are aligned with Goal 2 and Goal 5. And then also to discuss, I wanted to recap kind of what we've been doing at Las Canchas over the years since we've opened in September 2022. So in the next slide, you'll see some pictures, but what we've been doing is doing some youth programming, which you can see in the top left there. We have about 60 kids that signed up last year through the Parks Department. We've also done watch parties as well for the biggest tournaments that are free open to the public, along with food trucks. And then also the Bridge Street League, which is a league that's run by the Soccer Rebellion, which has now 16 men's teams and 8 women's teams. And they're all sponsored by local businesses in downtown Grand Rapids, as well as local artists that help design the jerseys. So the reason we're doing the turf this year is to not only improve the aesthetically look of the courts, have more green space, but also to incentivize people to play there, because there's a little bit of apprehension when it comes to playing on asphalt. So having activities that will include more on the turf, as well as more youth programming, as well as the watch parties that we have planned for this year for the World Cup. That's kind of the direction that we're going with Las Canchas, and trying to improve more of this space, along with the soccer stadium as well, which is around the corner. So for this process, I reached out to different turf companies, and we got 3 proposals, and Michigan Turf Company was the lowest bid, and also has a proven track record of successful installations of turf, as well as understanding it's temporary. And if approved, it will be installed in spring 2026, just in time for when the football season begins. Recommendation to get this funding to not exceed $35,000, which includes 10% contingency for an installation, and supplies the turf installation of Las Canchas. If there's any questions, I'll try to answer any comments.
Yes. What's the expected lifespan of this kind of turf?
The turf itself has about 10 years. So there's no issue in terms of having to buy a brand new turf every 2 years, even with the high activity that we anticipate in the spring and summer at Las Canchas. The turf is well able to withstand activity as well as weather conditions as well. So yeah, they said 10 years guaranteed.
Thank you.
The other nice thing I was going to say, obviously we've planned and are thinking about development in these areas eventually. The turf we can move for a new home if and when that needs to happen. So.
Yeah.
That's good. Anything else? We should put a DDA soccer team together.
Corey's the first pick.
Okay. Tim was second.
Too old.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the turf installation.
Support.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
Mr. Kelly,
Yes.
you're up.
Thank you. Quite a bit going on as we get into the new year. Wanted to update you first on GR Forward. So team has already started working, doing some data gathering and working with Marion. They're going to be in town in a couple weeks for sort of their first visit to sort of get here and kind of see what's going on. They'll be doing one-on-one interviews throughout that week that they're around, and then probably some more robust community conversations starting in the spring, summer. So just want to keep you tracking on that. Whitewater, if you haven't heard, is moving along, thanks to a lot of work from a lot of people, including a few to my right. Bids are received, being reviewed. We expect contracts to go to City Commission either later this month or early March. And then the plan still is to have construction beginning July 1. So we should see some work in the river yet this year, which is exciting to see. What was that? Depending on flow. Yes. Yeah. So the melt is good right now because it's a little more habitable to be outside, but we are watching the water levels quite a bit. Amphitheater. Did you know the amphitheater's opening? 93 days. 93 days. Some people are just counting working days, and there's 65 left until the amphitheater opens. So a lot of work happening both inside, and then you can start to see, or hopefully you've seen the edge start to take shape as well. So a lot of hands on deck at this point to get that over the finish line. Was also going to mention that there are a couple of committees that have been formed. One is looking at the opening weekend, so May 15th, making that a community gathering, inviting everyone in, showcasing everything that's been happening down there. And then DJRI was asked to be involved with sort of the visitor experience group that's thinking about, as people come to downtown, maybe for the first time, how they're navigating to and from the amphitheater. So some work going on in that regard as well. So more to share later, but just wanted to highlight those two activities. Soccer stadium as well is continuing on, opening in May of 27. So a little over a year, but you're starting to see it really take shape over there on the west side. Also wanted to point out, based on your approval in December, the development team, Rockford, is starting to work on the tower. We had a good meeting with them last week and should have some more to share in the spring, summer about timing for that, but really tracking toward making sure that we're utilizing the transformational brownfield for that project to get done. The city, toward the end of the year, was awarded a grant from the state to help with the implementation of the Hill and River Network. So you've seen this a handful of times. The grant will primarily go toward helping with the realignment of Division and Ionia as a phase 1, and then phase 2 will be looking at the stairs. So those two things are getting coordinated right now. The money has to be spent, as we understand it, by 2029. And so we're working with the city to get those projects finished up design and then under construction. The realignment we expect would start first, and that'd be in 2027, so about a year from now, and then the stairs would be shortly thereafter. So just wanted to make sure you were up to speed on that. And then last but certainly not least, World of Winter continues. More events over the next couple weekends. Love on Ice is happening this weekend. And then we have Hungry Hippos later in the month. And then things close out March 1 with the Noodle Fest. So hopefully you've been down to see it and enjoyed it. If not, there's still a chance, so come on down and enjoy it. And just wanted to shout out the team, some of whom are here, although maybe not. They have been working tirelessly to deliver that event, so kudos to all them. And that's my report.
Any questions for Tim? It's a rather subdued group today. I can feel it. All right, next is public comment. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to step forward, seeing none, we'll move on to board discussion. Any comments for?
Apologize for being late. I did want to mention, at the CAA meeting Friday, I mentioned that a group of my commissioners and staff had toured the amphitheater the previous Friday. And I have to say, for somebody who was heavily involved with helping to stand it up, I had no appreciation for how cool it really is going to be. I mean, the use of technology throughout everywhere, I mean, you'll be able to keep hearing, you know, the concert wherever you go in that facility, you know, whether you go to a concession or a restroom or whatever. And just, it really kind of actually exceeded my already high expectations.
So you toured the restrooms?
Yeah, did do that. I did not use any. We had a lot of people in there. So, and apparently we have achieved restroom equity or whatever they call it.
Potty parity.
Potty parity. There you go.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Got your back, Al.
So, all right. Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes.
Do we have an expected completion date for the greenway next to the amphitheater?
That's a great question.
That's a great question, KM.
It's tough to work on it now because it's grass. That's essentially what we're talking about. So as soon as possible. The other thing I will say, there's been a discussion about, I mean, there was a broader discussion that I was part of with a bunch of players about, like, how do you make people assume for a minute that people draw a 20-minute circle, walking circle around the amphitheater, and assume that people are going to get creative about parking, so they might park in front of your house, Greg, for example. How do they? Well, but how do they feel? You know, is that whole area feel good, welcoming, positive? And so, anybody here who really feels like their spiritual gift is picking up trash, I am hoping to pivot the mayor's river cleanup energy into cleaning up around the amphitheater, but not just defining it as river, because cleaning up the river is great, but last time I did that, it was cleaning up very, very small objects. So I'm hoping to expand the conversation into like weed pulling and cutting back vegetation, and not simply picking up objects, but also expand the scale and scope, because, you know, if this is a river asset, you got to get there somehow. So that conversation's happening, but look for opportunities to volunteer, everybody.
Just to piggyback on that, just because this is a unique anecdote, I don't know where else would be appropriate to share, but that spirit of what the mayor just talked about, picking up trash. The first Grand Rapidian I ever was employed by over 40 years ago was then State Senator Vern Ehlers. And I remember crossing the street in downtown Lansing, middle of the street, middle of traffic, he stops and picks up a piece of trash. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, is he going to get hit by a car? And he's like, Greg, everybody can do something to make the world better. It was 40 years ago, I remember it. And to this day, the person that I still see doing that is Sam Cummings, if you walk around. Like him, he's got a lot of trash under his arm. He's
When he campaigned.
Yes, Vern did, yes.
Any other historic comments or stories? I love it. All right, hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
So
I love that guy.